Yes, sir.
All right, I will call the meeting of the Airport Authority to order. Chairman Carmichael, will you give our invocation today?
Yes, sir. So I'll pray together. Heavenly Father, we just bow humbly before you. Thank you for this new day, the gift that it is that you've given us. We thank you for the opportunity to move our county forward, and we pray that we'll be in your will and hear your guidance. We pray for protection of our families, of our community, our county, our state, and our country. And we just thank you for loving us, that we might love others in return. In Christ's name, amen.
Next item of business be the election of officers. Is there a nomination?
I nominate Boyd Austin for chairman.
Second.
Are there any other nominations? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Vice Chair. I'll nominate Ellis. I'll return the favor. Such a glorious favor, isn't it?
And I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any other nominations? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Next item is the approval of the minutes from the December 20th, 2017 meeting. You'll remember our January meeting was canceled due to weather. You've received a copy of those minutes. Anybody note any errors or omissions? Not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve.
Have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of financial statements. You've received a copy of those. You have pleasure on the adoption of financial statements.
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion. Is there a second? So moved. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Airport Director's report.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's customary at the first meeting of a year to hear a state of affairs for whatever the organization is that is being considered. In this case, it's the Paulding County Airport. And so I'm going to take a little bit of extra time today and discuss where we are, where we're going, and what our vision is and the challenges that we face. The Paulding County Airport Authority was created in 1972 by the Georgia General Assembly. The founding legislation states in part that the purpose of the authority is to acquire, construct, equip, maintain, improve, and operate airports. We act independently from the Board of Commissioners and do not report organizationally to them. We are a political subdivision of the state of Georgia. The FAA recognizes the Paulding County Board of Commissioners and the Paulding County Airport Authority as co-sponsors, meaning that in the eyes of the FAA, the two sponsors are equal. The Board of Commissioners and the Paulding County Airport Authority contracted together in 2014 in an agreement called the Intergovernmental Agreement. This was a publicly debated, approved, and signed contract by both parties and carries the full authority of contract law. Paragraph 4A of that document states that the PCAA shall operate and maintain the airport. Paragraph 4B states that the county will eliminate staffing of its own airport department. In effect, this contract establishes that the PCAA and not the Board of Commissioners will be responsible for the management of the airport. However, as co-sponsors, the BOC remains financially responsible for the airport per FAA grant assurances. So both the PCAA and the Paulding County Board of Commissioners are equally financially responsible for the operation of the airport. Our airport is the largest and most expensive component of transportation infrastructure in Paulding County. Today, every lighting system, navigation system, communication system is fully functional on the airfield. We are current on all life safety inspections such as elevators, fire extinguishers, sprinkler systems, fire hydrants, alarm systems. The grass is cut, every commode flushes, every parking lot and street light is operational. With the exception of the bond payments, which are the subject of litigation, we are current on all of our bills, and we have over $200,000 in the bank. The entire airfield, from the ILS tower on the west to the overrun protection zone on the east, has been mowed down to specifications, And we just completed the removal of the pine trees that had grown up inside the 2.5 miles of service road from the AWAS station on the south all the way around the airfield to Taxiway Bravo on the north. The airfield looks great. If you've been out there in the last few days, you'll see that it looks really good. As an added bonus, we successfully separated the complex and intertwined business relationship of the IBA and the PCAA, and each authority is now operating independently of each other. So the elephant in the room, commercialization. On November 28, 2012, the Paulding County Airport Authority signed the terminal lease agreement with Silver Comet Terminal Partners, whereby we agreed to upgrade the airport to be able to handle scheduled passenger service. Paragraph 9 of this agreement requires that we submit an application known as a Part 139 application so that our airfield might be certified for this purpose. Those who oppose the airport has called for us to abandon this contractual responsibility and to withdraw our application. However, that option is not allowed under the contract that we signed. In November of 2014, Mr. Tony Crow and Mr. Vernon Collette were elected to the Board of Commissioners along with re-elected Commissioner Mr. Todd Pownell, providing a 3-2 majority to commissioners publicly opposed to the commercialization of our airport. As their first legislative action at their first BOC meeting after being sworn in, they passed Resolution 1501 by a 3-2 vote, declaring in effect that the Board of Commissioners no longer supported the commercialization of the airport. The FAA has made it clear that they will not proceed with any action at our airport unless the two co-sponsors are in agreement. We know this from this letter that we received from the FAA that reads in part, "Please consider this letter as notice that going forward the FAA will respond only to joint communications submitted by or on behalf of both co-sponsors." So we and the Board of Commissioners must agree on any action going forward. So effectively, Resolution 1501 grounded commercialization until such time in the future as this board and the Board of Commissioners are in agreement. So now let's talk about our vision. With commercialization grounded by the BOC, let's discuss general aviation. The PCAA has had a vision for general aviation since the airport opened in 2008. We've been in existence out there for 10 years. And our vision is documented on a document called the Airport Layout Plan. And that plan has remained virtually unchanged as far as general aviation is concerned since the day the airport opened. And this plan and this vision includes extending Airport Parkway to allow access to the IBA's 112-acre technology park, completion of the terminal area expansion program, which is the aviation equivalent of an industrial park, which would allow for the construction of additional hangars that larger airplanes, like companies and businesses would use, would be appropriate for that. We've already completed a number of steps along this vision. I want to highlight those. The water tank has been in much discussion of late. Those that are opposed to the airport believe that the water tank was built for a single 25,000 square foot commercial hangar. In fact, that water tower was built to handle all of the airport needs for the next 20 years, including the terminal area expansion project. So it wasn't built for one hangar, it was built for 20. And that would roughly make our airport, if this vision were fully recognized, it would roughly be equivalent as far as corporate traffic is concerned to what McCollum has today. We'd have about as many hangars and about as much access. But in addition, on the west side of the airfield, provisions were made for adding another 10 to 15 rows of T-hangars, which would allow us as many as 150 to 200 additional small piston aircraft. So our airport was actually designed from the beginning to handle both corporate traffic and small piston single traffic. So it's a very good vision for general aviation. The City of Dallas has already invested over $3 million extending their sewer outflow to the center of the 200 acres that would make up the terminal area expansion project and the 112 acres of IBA Industrial Park. You can see from a satellite view the way the direction the line flows, and you can see the last manhole and where it was dropped, basically right in the center of the development. That manhole is live today. If we had paying customers, they could connect into the Dallas sewer system. and we would be good to go on sewer. In addition to the sewer and the water tank, we have a large water main that runs from Highway 278, three-phase power, gas line, phone lines, fiber optics, everything that would be needed for an industrial park. All of the utilities have already been laid into this area. So we are ready to go with this vision. And this vision was on track until January of 2015, when the Board of Commissioners stopped being supportive of its completion. And there's been virtually no progress made on this vision, toward this vision, since that time. So let's compare this vision to the Richland Creek Reservoir. When we go home tonight, those of us that are on county water, we're going to turn on our faucets and we're going to have plenty of clean, fresh, cheap water. So why do we need the reservoir? The answer is because 10 or 20 years from now, when the population of Paulding County is twice what it is today, we will find that we needed that reservoir that was built so many years ago in order to provide for what would at that time be the present, but today we see as the future. It's no different for the airport. It takes vision to be able to see that the jobs created by a strong general aviation airport could provide the high-tech, high-paying jobs that will slow the brain drain that has been going on in this county for a generation, where the best and the brightest of our youth migrate to other geographical areas in search of the careers for which they have trained. We owe it to that next generation to do whatever we can to increase the probability of them staying home if they choose to, instead of being forced to migrate away to make a living. When I took this job, I met with each one of the post commissioners individually. They each told me they were opposed to commercialization, which I knew and I understood, but that they would work with me on general aviation topics. Instead, they canceled the airport fire station project, moved the 911 center to the other side of the county, surplused the fire truck, blocked the transfer of the 163 acres, attempted twice last June to block federal grant funds from being transferred to the PCAA, and have interfered with the management of the airport. These last three items are in direct violation of the contract that was signed by their board and ours. They did not offer any assistance, even though they are co-sponsor of this airport, to the 120-acre forest fire, the $30,000 lightning strike, the $25,000 sinkhole, the partially completed hangar, the damaged fire pump, or the rocks in the water main. They have not moved forward with the construction of Airport Parkway Extension, despite having been offered a state economic development grant of $3 million to contribute toward the completion of that road, and they've done nothing to help us with the terminal area expansion project. But the most damaging action taken by the Board of Commissioners has been the filing of a lawsuit against the Paulding County Airport Authority to effectively halt the commercialization. The same commercialization that was grounded for free simply by the passage of Resolution 1501. They needed no other action to achieve their stated goal. This illegal action to date has resulted in this stack of invoices from their conflict counsel that total almost $500,000, and we have been forced to spend about the same amount of money on our attorneys fighting this lawsuit. Both sets of attorneys are being paid by the county, so the Board of Commissioners has caused the wasting of $1 million in taxpayer money to fight commercialization, which was already grounded for free. At the same time, they have raised the property taxes for all Paulding County citizens, in part to pay for this large legal action that's being carried out against our own citizens, us. Paulding County is known in economic development circles as that county that is suing itself. When I run around the state and try to talk to people and get them interested in general aviation topics at our airport, the conversation usually ends with, well, let me know when you get those lawsuits settled. We can't control any of them except this one. This one we have in our full control, where we, our own leadership, has determined to file suit against our own government entity in this county that is attempting to run this airport. This has resulted in virtually no industrial development in Paulding County, not just the airport, but the entire county in the past 3 years, a time when Georgia is beginning to boom. We have emerged from the Great Recession. If you pick up the Atlanta Business Chronicle and you look at the announcements of new businesses that are beginning to move into Georgia, Paulding County is silent from that list. So let's talk about safety. In a meeting in December where we were attempting to negotiate a settlement on the harvesting of the trees, I again brought up the incident on December 3rd when the military was utilizing our airfield for parachute training. On a mistimed jump, 12 airmen became stranded in the tree line just south of the airfield, and the fire department had to be called to rescue them. I was pushing to have the trees on the south of the runway cleared in the name of safety, and Commissioner Pownell replied, and this is a quote, "I don't give a rat's patootie about soldiers stuck in trees." I'll let that quote stand for itself. The actions of the Board of Commissioners as co-sponsors of this airport have caused harm and interference with the development of a strong general aviation airport and have caused damage to our county's reputation and halted virtually all new business development in our county. I challenge the Board of Commissioners as co-sponsors of our airport to change their attitude and outlook as it pertains to the Paulding County Airport and demonstrate this change by passing the following 3 resolutions at their next meeting. Number 1, resolve to endorse a strong general aviation airport that will enhance our economic development opportunities and improve our reputation as a progressive, business-friendly community. Number 2, resolve to instruct their attorneys to immediately dismiss all legal action against the Paulding County Airport Authority. They have already achieved their goal. They don't need to spend this money to make a point. And finally, resolve to direct the Paulding County Department of Transportation to begin immediately the engineering on Airport Parkway extension with the goal of capturing that $3 million economic development grant that's been offered by the state to Paulding County, so that we will have a product to offer to new potential businesses as they come looking at Paulding County. Imagine if we had a 200-acre industrial development site made up of the 112 acres of the IBA's industrial park, over 80 acres of the Paulding County Terminal Area Expansion Project, with all utilities already laid into the property, with curb and gutter already poured for the street going in, paid for by the state, with a mile-long runway with an instrument landing system. You may know that the governor has announced that he's spending $25 million on 9 airports in Georgia to give those depressed rural communities what we already have. An airport that can handle most of the smaller business-type traffic that any business that would want to move into our county might consider having as part of their corporate aviation program. We have that to offer today. We've got a mile-long runway, we've got an instrument landing system, we have a 24-hour lighting system, a full weather station, we have fuel available on the airfield, and we should have a development site where they could lease land from us and put up any size hangar that would have adequate fire protection, adequate sewage for any needs that any industry might need. And we have it right here in our home. In conclusion, despite the challenges, the interference, the harm, and the harassment caused by those that oppose our airport, we have survived. And in some ways, we've actually thrived over this past 3 years. I long for the opportunity to see what we can achieve if we work together instead of fighting battles at taxpayer expense. Boyd, I turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Terry. Any member of the authority have any questions, Terry?
Terry, what about the ILS? What's the status on that? They had a portion of it that was failed the test.
The ILS is fully functional. There's reflections coming from some of the taller trees that have caused the FAA to limit our ILS to hand flying only, so you can engage the autopilot in the final stages of landing, but the ILS is fully functional. And the tree removal that we've been in the process of is improving that, but it won't be retested for about another year because the FAA is responsible for all of that testing. So it'll be a year. We will have to live with the restriction that pilots operating in and out of our airport, when they land, they have to hand fly the airplane rather than trusting the autopilot to get them all the way to the, well, not all the way to the ground, but to within 200 feet of the ground.
Okay.
But we are still functional. The airport is still functional.
And for instance, you mentioned back in another meeting that Phoenix Air had to land there.
They don't have an ILS.
They don't have an ILS, and they had to land because of the low ceiling at our. a few months back.
Right. So we have something that most of the airports in our immediate area do not have, which is a fully functional instrument landing system.
Anybody else?
Would you be able to give a comparison in what you've paid out for labor to remove those trees, that had gone another couple of years, those trees grew another 10, 20 feet?
I hired a college student to help me. I pay him $10 an hour. We've worked probably 100 hours, so there's $1,000, and we've cut over 40 acres of trees.
And if, what would be the cost to remove those trees had 2 more years gone by?
Well, had 2 more years gone by, you would have been dealing with a commercial harvester. They would have been bigger than what we can handle ourselves. You would have needed somebody who's in that profession. I don't know, Ellis, do you know what it costs an acre?
$5,000 an acre.
Okay.
So you did 200, if you clear 40 acres, you would, say $200,000.
Yeah. By doing it today,
They would
rather
not be
than-
merchantable timber, so it's really kind of old scrap timber, so you would just have to
Cut it and chip it.
You'd have to cut it and chip it and dispose of it. So anywhere from $3,500 to $5,000 an acre, $150,000 to $200,000.
Anyone else? All right, next item is request to approve the special event permit from the Paulding County School System for the STEM event to be held on Thursday, March 22nd, 2018.
And we've got Ms. Perry here from the Paulding County School System. She's going to talk about this a little bit before she speaks. We did this last year, and this was probably the highlight of the year as far as I'm concerned. We have all of the STEM students from all of the high schools coming in. They get an opportunity to see our airport. We have vendors there. We have airplanes. And you're going to tell us more about what you've got planned this year. But it's just an awesome event for the high school kids. Ms. Perry.
Thank you for having me this morning, by the way. And again, I'm Ms. Perry. I work for the school district as the Director of Career, Technical, and Agricultural Education. Last year, the JROTC programs actually, and I started basically tossing out the idea of having a STEM Expo here in Paulding County. And we ended carrying it out at the airport, of course, like you guys all well know. It was a great first event, and we didn't want it to be just a one-time only type of event. So this would be the request to use your facility for that second annual STEM Expo. What this means is, and of course, those of you that are not familiar with this, what STEM is a science, technology, engineering, and mathematics program. So it encompasses a huge area, which the whole United States really is having a big push. So our students, our youth, start getting involved in those careers to keep up with our global value and force. So with that being said, we are going to have, just like last year, we will have all the branches of the military showing students careers within the STEM areas within the military. We will have also colleges from the area and from also out of state, because there are some colleges that came in from Tennessee, Alabama, that will actually would like to come in as well. We will have businesses in the area that relate to the STEM careers, not only showcasing what their businesses are, but also in some cases giving the students the opportunity to even apply on the spot for future jobs in the county, as well as other organizations that pertain to these areas. The actual event will be a rotation where about 500 high school students from all 5 high schools will have the opportunity to interact with members from the SWAT team and look at their actual lab that they will bring for them to actually get hands-on and simulate certain things. Dobbins Air Force Base will send their mannequins, some robots that look like mannequins, basically with different medical situations where our health occupation students will have to come in and do some, first aid simulations and things like that. It's very, very interactive. We will have also the military. I think last year we had a Black Hawk and some civilian choppers and stuff like that. This year we're hoping to have even more birds over there as well for the students to see. And basically those, it kind of happened this way, but we are focusing on the careers that are actually high-demand careers as established by the governor's office. They are going to be businesses and opportunities to interact with people from the healthcare field, from manufacturing, construction, and of course aviation. So it's just a great opportunity for our students to get a first touch of what those careers can be for their future, and give our Paulding County students different opportunities once again. So I don't know what kind of questions you might have. I'll answer any questions you might have. I just didn't know how in-depth you would like me to explain the whole process.
Any questions for Ms. Perry? In that case, I'll entertain a motion on the approval of the special event permit. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
It's a motion and a second, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We do have need for a closed session to discuss real estate and litigation. Is there a motion to go in closed session for those purposes?
So moved.
You want to state it?
Yes, sir. Make a motion that we go into closed session for the purpose of real estate and litigation.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We'll return. All right, we report back from executive session, have adjourned executive session with no action taken. Any comments, questions from the members of the board? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Note that Chairman Carmichael was absent for the vote on. Thank you very much.